Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with another Perils in Paradise card review, our final review, which has the last of the Druid cards. You can get over 20 mana now in Hearthstone. You can get over 20 mana. You can recast spells. We have a brand new keyword. There is so much in just this one reveal. It is ridiculous. There's some broken crap here. We're gonna review these cards. You wanna win these cards or giving away 2 regular pre-orders, 2 mega bundles out of my pocket to enter that giveaway. Like and comment in the video. Link down in the description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel, and for every 1,000 subs we get until Monday now, until Monday, I will add another mega bundle. So hit that sub button, make me go broke. And as a reminder, Warrior can access these cards outside of the tourist card, which we'll look at last. It can access any of the other cards, including the brand new keyword for this card, 7 mana arcane spell, Sleep Under the Stars. Amazing artwork. It has choose thrice. We had choose twice as the only keyword to be a one of in Hearthstone. Now we have choose thrice, where you can choose to either draw 2 cards, 5 armor, or refresh 3 mana crystals. So for 7 mana, you could like draw 6, you could gain 15 armor, you could refresh 9, you can get 2 on top of your 7. There's some flexibility for some shenanigans with this, but overall, like, pretty nice, right? You can do whatever you kind of want. Get some cycle, get some armor. The only thing it doesn't really have is like removal and damage, but the flexibility of this is quite nice. It's very expensive for sure, but maybe you're ramping up into this. It doesn't feel so bad. Warrior in particular doesn't have like, might not necessarily have the best like card draw or anything like that, but think about this, like you play this with Odin, you could deal 15 damage with just this card, right? It's 15. That's something to consider, along with the card draw can come along with. I'm not gonna write a card off like this at all. Despite the fact it's 7 mana, it just can do a lot, right? And you can even flex in some mana refreshing there that you might wanna use. Can be pretty good. I will give this a 4 to 5 in standard. I think Druid and Warrior absolutely utilize this card. I think it's just a gorgeous card. And in Wild, I'll give it a 3. Probably not, but maybe like as a one of in Areno Druid, which again is a playable archetype right now. Might be okay, but probably more on the expensive end. But what a beautiful card. And each like choose thrice is a constellation. I think that's really, really cool. Next, we have a card that is going to piss a lot of people off because it's probably pretty broken. It is the New Heights, a 3 mana epic spell. Increase your maximum mana by 3 and gain an empty mana crystal. So it's like Wild Growth, where you gain an empty mana crystal. So that's a permanent upgrade. You can't use it right away, but you permanently increase your mana, and then the maximum mana, so let's say you play this on 3, will go from 10 to 13. So all of a sudden you can get well over 10 mana. If you play 2 of these, then you can have up to 16 mana. You play an audio amplifier into this, you can have 14, 17, or in Wild, you play Guff and the New Heights, your maximum mana can go to 23, 26. It's an insanely good card. We know how good it is to be able to ramp up past 10 mana, to make for more flexibility, to open up room to play Alonius and do OTKs or just whatever, right? And it's a Wild Growth on top of that. You gain that empty mana crystal for, it's basically the same as Wild Growth in standard, right? You gotta play the gift for 1 mana to get the Wild Growth. You can't play Splish Splash Whelp as we know of right now. That'll probably get nerfed to 3, and then you got New Heights, which is 3. It's insane, right? And yeah, just getting that increase, and Warrior can play this too. Warrior can ramp up past 10 mana. Warrior has access to mana ramp. It is incredible. It is such a brokenly, I don't know if it's broken, but it's so good. Like, you're going to play this in like most Warrior decks, most Druid decks, and yeah, you can get over 20. It's a 5-star card in standard. Probably more of a 4 in Wild, because again, I don't know how much you care about getting to 23, 26 if you got Guff and all that, and if you play this, into Guff, then Guff will set it back to 20, and then you have to like play another one to go above that. But I am looking forward to like Guff into Mark doing like a full board of Vargoths, recasting New Heights to what's the maximum mana we could get up to, right? Is there a limit? Can you get over 100? Like you can play as many of these spells as you can generate. There might be a maximum mana limit. We don't know. But yeah, this is a 5-star card in Standard, a 4-star card in Wild, and I do expect to see a lot of like, what are we doing? I thought we wanted Ramp to be worse. In Druid, we put Nourish out of the core set, and now we make New Heights, which is just an incredibly good card. And well, there's a bit of a payoff to having some mana. We have the Bouldering Buddy, a 7-mana 6/7 Rush Taunt minion, but it costs 1 if you have at least 10 mana crystals. So like the Omega mechanic, if you fill up to your 10 mana part, right? I think it will work if they're empty crystals. As long as you have unlocked 10 mana crystals, this becomes 1. And before that, it's terrible. You can't really afford to play a 7-mana 6/7 Rush Taunt. And it also kind of has a bit of anti-synergy, maybe, with like the Taunt Res spell we looked at last video. Do I want to bring this back? Maybe. It has Rush. There might be validity to it. But again, if you're ramping consistently and you're getting to like 10 mana by like turn 6 and 7, I just put this 1-mana taunt in there. That's pretty good. And I could like cycle with your Choose Thrice card and get into this. That could be good too. It can cost 1. And as I say, mana cheat good. And if a deck is reliably ramping to the point that they hit 10 mana pretty early on, you want this card because it's super cheap. It's 1 mana. I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4 to 5 in Standard, whether it's Warrior. I feel like it's probably more accustomed to Druid. They have more ramp options. Druid just has the 1 ramp card. That's it. Like they only have that one, whereas Druid has at least, I mean, I'm sure they're getting Welt back. They have the gift with Nourish. They have Crystal Cluster. They have ways of possibly getting this out. And I guess in Wild, it's broken. You Astral Communion and then top deck this. Oh my. And then you have 9 mana to spend on nothing. I don't know about that, but I'll give it a 3 in Wild. It could work. You got Bio Projects and a lot more ramp available there that you can cheat it out. And then the last card to be revealed or reviewed by us, this expansion, Mista Vista. This is not playable by Warrior, as is the Mage Tourist card, allowing Druid to play Mage, which has some big spells like the Water Elemental spell, right? Well, that's important because Battle Cry, it's a 5-mana 5/5, Battle Cry, in 3 turns, you replay every spell you've cast between now and then. And I guess they'll be like represented in the Scenic Vista. I don't know if you'll be able to like hover over it. It'll like show you the spells or something. And it says in 3 turns you recast it. So I guess it takes up a hand spot, which could be like negative synergy, like overdrawing possibly. Kind of weird. Interesting how that is like that, but I guess they wanted something out there, unless it doesn't work that way. I don't have a video for this one. But yeah, you get a bunch of like maybe ramp or card draw. The Water Elementals, as I mentioned, that could be really good. I will note that it could cast and like hit random targets. It's a weird one, right? But it allows you to play Mage cards, which if you look at the Mage cards, I really don't know what Druid's doing that much with it. I guess there's the spell damage stuff. I guess for like Alonias, that's the main thing, or like the location to discover some spells. But overall, it's still a decent card. You're recasting a bunch of spells that could be really good for you. And it's a 5-mana 5/5, which is okay. I'm not as high on this as some of the other tourist cards because it really requires more of a specific deck and a build. You don't want to necessarily play this. Like, I don't think you want to play this unless you have some really good spells that actually make sense to recast and not just something that could like screw you, overdraw you. Who knows, right? I'll still give it a 4. I think I gave every tourist card a 4. I'm going to stick with that for this one. Not as high on it as some of the other ones. It just seemed like busted that you just want to play it regardless, but it certainly has some potential. And in Wild, I'll give it a 2 because I don't think you want to do that. Imagine though you could play like any Mage cards. You have like Ice Block Recast or Galactic Projection Orb or whatever. You can't really do that because you can't put those cards. Those are not Perils of Paradise cards. So there we go. Those are all the cards. Really crazy power level expansion. I'm expecting a lot of scams, aggression, not a lot of control, not a lot of late game stuff. But overall, it's going to be a very, very impactful expansion, in my opinion. And we'll have to see how the tourist mechanic works out. That's all the reviews. We'll have a tier list on every legendary over the weekend. And then I'm anticipating on Monday, probably like patch notes. And then we're off to the races, right? So we'll have plenty more giveaways to do as well on top of the one we'll have announced on Monday. Tons of news coming up, so you want to stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for tuning in to all these reviews. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.